Take a trip down memory lane and realize we're still stuck there. Remember when I got that job for Olay canvassing for the Obamas back in 2012? And Mayor Leo Ortega sit and talk to us and tell us about the Koch brothers. Oh, how they sound really bad. And then after the Obamas just said, lay down and enjoy the rape. We'll live the Lord's Prayer in another 25 years. Well, who knows? Whenever the people that are empowered decide what's good for us, we will get what's good for us, And you're sitting there, and I went and looked. I was like, the Koch brothers have, she was sitting there. The Koch brothers, they make their employees vote Republican or they fire them and all this stuff. So that sounds horrible. I went and looked up the Koch brothers. They have 50,000 employees. I was like, wow. So 50,000 people vote Republican because that's their business. 50,000 people are going to decide who is president, right? Who gives a fuck? And so I'm sitting there going, so the Kochs are worse than George Soros. But George Soros got more money than the Koch brothers do. Okay, it's all genocide. They're the bad people. We've got to kill them. Once we kill them, then we can live the Lord's Prayer. It's like, that's just fucking crazy. Live the Lord's Prayer and then see who wants to kill who. When you're living the Lord's Prayer, right, and you don't have debt and trespass, and you don't have psychotics telling you they own the land and torturing you, abusing you, and waking you up at 6 a.m. with a alarm clock, and you're driving down there and you got this thing telling you, Alexa, Siri, blah, 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 don't forget your blah, 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 blah. Car's going to drive for itself, and all that crazy shit these fuckers do, right? When you have a relationship, okay? Like I was sitting there listening to Quincy Jones's and James Ingram, right? And we go, oh man, I went through that with my ex-wife. I got to understand why it always comes back to goodbye. Why can't we get ourselves in hand? And I was Shelley's Winter Love. I'm only Shelley's Winter, only it was Amy. What you going to do, I think. And she was totally head fucked. And she was impossible to deal with. But you got to understand, guys, she comes from a poor German, okay, a whole, that were the people that were forced into and performed the Holocaust. And her mom was most likely sexually assaulted by angry black men at a Job Corps. So you get these science people saying she is a really bad person and her kids are affected by their bad thinking, because they told me that in Sierra Vista. They had the psychologist look at it and say, the Noah was a country thinker like a Nazi and all that stuff. I'm like, this is big talk for a lady that lives in fucking Cochise County, Arizona. Would you talk this way to the fucker who's the head at Fort Huachuca? No, you'd be too scared. But you can talk to me this way, which it's always that way. The guy like Jesus, you're just crazy. You're an extremist. You think there's a God and then you force it down our throats. And you're like, okay, money's real. Now take my dick. I'll give you $10,000. I'll shove it all the way down your throat. And if we're in British Columbia or Nevada, she's doing it. $10,000. Oh yeah, I'm saying this is a trend on porno. It's not that big. You're not going to hurt yourself. It's a comfortable penis. I don't want to force it down your throat. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to give you $10,000. I want you to live the Lord's Prayer. This man talks inappropriately. That's bullshit. They had that Doug Wilson guy from I talked about earlier, He said it's going to take 250 years to live the Lord's Prayer. It's like, how the fuck does it... Okay, 250 years. Okay, next year is... No, fuck that. I'm not giving him that. I'm not going to say next year is the 2,500th birthday of the United States, and now we're going to live the Lord's Prayer, yay. No, fuck that. Do it today. 250 seconds. Okay, not 250 minutes. It's too long. 250 seconds. Trend the Lord's Prayer. If you can't do that, then you're fucking useless and I have no use for you in the kingdom of heaven. Yeah, and I said it. These people are just vicious and mean and selfish. You sit and watch their propaganda and they do the same shit over and over again. and then point at the other people and say, oh, it's so terrible. I remember all that shit when I was young, and I bought up into it too, Well, DC doesn't have any votes. The reason why they did that is they didn't want people bought and sold in. They wanted people that lived near DC to be servants, okay, and not people that were lobbyists and corrupt. So they set up Washington, D.C., where people that would be servants to the people's servants. Do you understand? That's why they did it. It's archaic. It's outdated, yes. But so is philanthropy. So is democracy. So is philosophy. Yeah. Life's eternal, grace is infinite. Go, wow, Yahweh, right? That's all, that is all parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. So generals order their soldiers to kill for a cause long ago forgotten. We're still killing each other over philosophy, democracy, and philanthropy. This cause, I'm going to start singing Rich Miller and the Soul Tunes. Instead of the effect, be the cause, just because. Don't be the cause, and don't be the effect. Just be good. Like Judah Krishnamurti and D.T. Suzuki said, does it pay to be good? No, money's not real. Just be good. It's good to be good. It's how you sustain life. It's how you respect. Dignity, honor, and respect goes a long way. Empathy, It's hard for people to empathize, though. Especially now when you got these assholes on TV. Cancer people have cancer treatment. They're dying from cancer and they're terminally ill. Here's how they're coming to terms with it, and here's how we're giving them treatment and then drugs, and then they slowly die. And it's like, and you spent how many years in college learning how to torture people with drugs and radiation and make them feel like you're saving their lives or elongating their lives? How about forgive debt, trespass, love, on eternal, faithful peace? Pull your head out of your ass and then get those 8 years of your life back and use them to go gardening while you make love with your wife who's not dying from carbon emission poisoning, stress, or pesticides or herbicides. Huh? You're a doctor. You're supposed to be able to figure this stuff out. Come on, Perry Mason. Dun, 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 dun. I'm obnoxious. Yeah. That's the cool thing about it. I think when people actually realize who I am, I have these kids tonight, they play an opposite. There's this show called Nobody, right? This movie where this guy's like an asshole, like the assholes around here. We could run you over in the parking lot of the Best Buy if you know. And those putzes that watched me as those two cage fighter kids punched me in the face trying to get to Natalie, and no avail. Or. And it wasn't a thing, like they all think scientifically. It's just because you want to. I did not want a manipulated, uncomfortable situation with beautiful Natalie. I wanted a comfortable, sexual, what's it called again? Monogamous relationship with her mother. Okay? And it just wasn't going to happen because of all these perverts that call themselves scientists that are saving the world and fixing us and curing our cancer and giving us our drugs and, hey, psychoanalyzing us and figuring us out. And so here's why he's thinking this, because his brain is doing this. You sure about that? Your quantum computing is getting better than you've ever been because it doesn't have your problems. It can just go like my brain does. And they sit there and say, he's a savant, he's Asperger's, because they didn't understand how my brain works. Because they were constantly competing and trying to quantify everything and figure everything out. And I was like, instead of figuring out, to do the forgive debt and trespass, love, one, eternal, faithful peace, and then we'll see how Squirt's brain goes. Okay? Cuckoo, ka-choo. Yeah, okay. I'm the turtle from Finding Nemo. Okay? I'm turtly enough for the Turtle Club. Okay, so I'm just kidding around, but you know what I'm saying? I hope so. Most people, though, it seems it's really difficult because you think you're having a coherent conversation with them, and then they'll turn around and say, well, Jesus loves you, and he's watching you from the sky, and maybe you'll get to go live in heaven with me and my family when you die, too, if you believe like we do. And here, press your luck. You just won $250,000. Yay, yay. Jesus loves you. He was crucified to give you the Lord's Prayer, so you didn't need $250,000 to live here. You sure you know Jesus? You want to tell me about Jesus again? Okay, we won't have any more conversations because, yay, press your luck. They're all excited. You watch these people, they're jumping around like they just got told, we're all living the Lord's Prayer. No more extortion, exploitation, and being mass murdered by genocidal operations. through cars, bars, and wars. And you'd think they'd all be jumping around going, yay, this is great. Old lady coming up to her daughter, we get to live the Lord's Prayer, honey. Nobody's going to ask us for money. It's going to be better than Patsy Cline when she had I Fall to Pieces or Crazy as a hit with the hand cocked on her hip. Ain't going to be nobody calling me up asking me for money for my Plymouth and my Frigidaire anymore, right? And you only have to drive when you need to. And anybody who wants to drive has just lost their fucking mind, right? Why do you want to drive? I want to go somewhere. Why do you want to go somewhere? Because I got people to kill. I got money to make. I got love to fake. I'm all dressed in green. I'm a loving machine. No, there's no such thing as a loving machine. There's a man who loves, but he's like Abraham, and he doesn't want to go drive to kill to fuck. So, how are you feeling? I get on here and I put this out in the cyberspace, and people have an option to get more intelligent. They say it's for genocide operations. Whatever the government does with it, that's going to end up sealing their fate. The best protection that not the United States has, that the world has from these psychotics with genocidal operations, with bad science projects, right now that I know of is me, because there's no one like, I don't see anybody. They're not showing me videos of someone like Jiddu Krishnamurti anymore, or DT Suzuki anymore. They're just showing me a bunch of people that are just incoherent. We're going to have lots of robots, and then we're going to have the best drugs ever, and then we're going to have the best healthcare because you'll be able to see your drug dealer, and your drug dealer gets you the drug right when you need it and how much you need it, and it'll be at the affordable price so you won't go broke killing yourself with your drugs and your stress. Sounds great. All right, artificial general intelligence it is. You're like, it's insane. I don't think they understand how... I used to think they were under duress and they couldn't, it was like the whole thing with the insurance commercial with Jake from State Farm and the little girl, blink twice if you're in trouble, right? I used to think it was like that, but I don't think so. I think they're like my family. No, Jesus is God in the sky, and he's going to take us away to a magic place that doesn't exist in my head, and you don't get to go there. It's like, I never wanted to go there. That's why I stay away from you when you talk like that and don't listen to you. Well, you tell me Bob Marley's in hell because he smoked marijuana, was a Rastafarian. I'm like, where are you going? I'm going to hell. Think I'm going to have some special brownies and listen to some reggae. All right, you have a nice day. Okay, guys, I love you. I'm being facetious, but stand up for the Lord's Prayer now. It can trend 250 minutes. Yeah, 250 seconds, you get it started. And then the 250 minutes, we'll see what technology can do. And if technology still sucks to the end of the day, no, don't give them that option. 250 seconds for you to get your shit together, 250 minutes for it to, white lightning, go around the world. It's not around the world in 80 days anymore, guys. We have satellites. You have a cell phone. Use it. Don't blink twice. You're not under duress. Lord's Prayer is perfect, all right? I love you.